What's that story you've never been able to tell? Like us to read you more awesome Reddit topics? Just like and subscribe to our channel. The time my mom needed to go back into the house to get a scarf. Because of this we were held back and missed the bus by 10 seconds. That bus then crashed into a bridge at very high speed. Because the bus driver had mental health problems. It is the closest I have ever been to death. I will never complain about my mom going back to get a scarf in my life again. Something similar happened to me. I was driving my cousin and her husband. We were all very young in our early 20s. We were at a stoplight with limited visibility when I was overcome with heat. I was so hot I was compelled to try and take my sweatshirt off at the red light and asked my cousin to help pull the sleeve. It got stuck over my head and I missed the light right as it turned green. I went to hit my gas and her husband yelled, "Wait," from the back seat. An 18-wheeler ran the red and swooshed directly in front of our car. Her husband saved your life, but the sweatshirt is the real hero. Sweatshirt and husband, an unusual but life-saving combination. Holy shit, that is insane. Sometimes you just make it by the skin of your teeth, I guess. In 6th grade one night I was like, I really don't feel like going to school tomorrow. So I looked up how to get a fever. I found a tutorial that said to take a bath at the hottest temperature your bathtub will go, and then stay up all night. I decided to try it and I started the water for a steaming hot bath. It stung to get in it, and I somehow survived it for 30 minutes. When I was getting out I felt dizzy and then I fell on the floor and had a seizure. I woke up and saw the blinding ceiling lights of the bathroom and the first thing I thought was, am I dead? And then I threw up in the toilet next to me and had a migraine for the night. And later found out I got first-degree burns. So long story short, don't do that. Did you go to school the next day? No, not for a week. So, success. If a plan is stupid and it works, then it's not stupid. If it's stupid and it doesn't work, you use something from the book. If it's stupid and it works, it goes in the book. The book is just a collection of stupid ideas that ended up working. When I was 17, I worked at a grocery store with a guy named Brian. Normal guy, mid-20s, Lil Chub, didn't really think much of him. One day he tells me about how he lives in an apartment by himself and that his neighbors are absolutely crazy. Like they would yell at him to be quiet, pound against the wall to get him to shut up, even though he wouldn't be doing anything. He would sneeze, and his neighbors would scream at the top of their lungs from next door. It was that bad. To be honest, I didn't really care much when he was telling me this. I just wanted to go home and not work anymore. Couple days go by and I noticed that Brian wasn't showing up anymore. Whatever, didn't think much of that either. A month or two goes by and he finally shows back up to work. So, being the nice friend I am, I asked him where he's been. He tells me he was actually fired because he was in the hospital. I didn't think that was a valid reason to fire someone, but what do I know? I didn't comment on that. I asked him why he was in the hospital and he told me it was for personal reasons. I tell him it was good having him back, and carried on with my day. Fast forward a couple days to me talking to another coworker who was good friends with Brian. He says, "Did you hear what happened to Brian? Yeah, he was in the hospital and was fired or something. Do you know why though?" "No," he said, "it was personal." So this is what happened a couple of months ago before Brian disappeared. He was at home by himself when his neighbors surprised start yelling at him through the walls for being too loud. Brian, telling himself I've had enough, decides to call the police and have them deal with it. The police arrived and started talking to the neighbors for quite some time. Hours go by with the police and neighbors. So he calls the police again to ask what's taking so long. The police respond with, "We left like an hour and a half ago." Turns out that the neighbors were never yelling at him. In fact, they were never there. Brian was schizophrenic and was hearing voices in his head. He had to go to a mental hospital for a month. I hope he's coping with this okay. I have a sister that's schizophrenic, but with meds she functions mostly normally. I just wish people understood mental illness more so that those that have them can be treated better. That was not how I expected this to end. At the beginning, I expected Brian to lose his shit and kill the neighbors. Then I thought the neighbors lost their shit and hurt Brian, putting him in the hospital. I thought both of these things in that order. In 6th grade, we had this paper we had to write. I forget what the subject was. I decided to procrastinate a lot. Then the day it was due rolled around, and I had nothing. We had to read our papers out loud in front of the class. I was totally prepared to take a 0. but then I realized he wasn't actually taking the papers we used. So I decided to go up to the front of the class with a blank sheet of paper and improvise. I ended up getting an 80. Crazy shit, bro. In the 7th grade, we were assigned to read any nonfiction book and write an essay about it. My dumb ass forgot, and in a stroke of genius, improvised a whole ass book out of thin air. Characters, author, plot. It was all made up. I got a 95 on that assignment. That was the peak of my life. Dude, this is a sign. Write the goddamn book. If you can confidently bullshit your way through something, you're pretty much set for success. When I was just a boy, I was touched when I was getting my hair cut. My father had to make a quick run to the ATM, so we were alone. I never realized it affected me that much and honestly didn't even think about it for years until I drove by the place where the barber shop used to be and just felt immense stress. I would never tell my father. He has always been insecure about whether or not he's been a good father to me. This would make him hate himself. Oh boy, I'm in a very similar boat. I was molested for years by a trusted teacher, not a school teacher, but I'll keep it vague. Kinda suppressed it for a few years before I realized how it might have freaked me up long term. Currently trying to save money for a therapist. I can't ask my grandparents, who paid for the lessons, or my parents, who were very supportive of the activity he was teaching. They'd be devastated. I didn't want to tell anybody then, because I didn't want to be the kid that got molested. Now I hate myself, because I know he had to have done it to other kids and I didn't come forward. He committed suicide a few years ago, and it was some BS reason about his girlfriend breaking up with him. I hope someone blackmailed him into it. The piece of shit. Lots of therapists offer sessions on a sliding scale. RAIN, an organization that supports victims of sexual violence, also has a hotline and online chat if you need someone to talk to. You don't have to tell your dad if you don't want to, but a counselor or someone else you could share the burden with might make you feel better. Much love to you. Around 42 years ago, my little brother was playing with matches and set the woods on fire. Burned about 10 acres. Everyone assumed that it was me smoking in the woods, so I just let it be me. I took the blame, and the ass whooping, because Dad was kinda rough on the ass whoopings when he was mad, and I didn't want my little brother to have to take it. Being that Dad got a little carried away this time, broke my arm. We've just never told anyone the truth. You're a good brother. I started doing one of those 5K running apps. On this app, the trainer is named Erin. She coaches you through each training session. I've never been a runner and now can do a solid 5K, but anyway, Erin told me that I've got to have a mantra, something I can repeat to myself when I want to give up. Her mantra is, "You're strong, Erin. Be strong." I could never come up with anything better, so now my mantra is, "You're strong, Erin. Be strong." My name isn't even close to Erin, but it doesn't feel right using my own name at this point. I'm surprised how often I want to give up on things and automatically think, "You're strong, Erin. Be strong." Guys, I am so overwhelmed and touched by these replies. Gold and silver and wholesome? Oh my, we are all strong Erins. If it makes you feel any better, I have a similar thing for urinals. I used to get stage fright and not be able to pee if other people were in the bathroom at the same time. I read something online and I started saying in my head, "This is my toilet. I can piss where I want." Similar principle in that the toilet isn't actually mine, but it works if I ever need it. Occasionally there will be someone next to me and I'll not hear a pee noise. I often wonder if I should share my tip or if it would super creep them out. You should just start saying it out loud. This is my toilet. There are many like it, but this is my own. Without my toilet I am nothing. One of the first times I invited my girlfriend to spend the night at my college apartment, I went to bed early. We're both gamers, but I'm an early bird and she's a night owl. She reassured me I could go to sleep without her, because, little did I know, she had plans to unlock Toadette, and a special cup in Mario Kart, TD for the GameCube. My apartment complex had very strict parking. There were only 2 parking passes for me and my roommate, but I encouraged my girlfriend to park in the lot anyway, because I'd never seen a friend get towed in the couple of years I lived there. She really didn't want to get towed though, so I promised to pay if she got her car impounded. So I go to bed while she plays Mario Kart all night. Little did I realize she's an absolute freak at the game. I wake up early in the morning to find her passed out from a night of gaming. I fire up the GameCube to play some Mario Kart with breakfast. Not aware she unlocked almost everything in the game. I proudly proclaim, "You got towed." Barely awake she responds, "I got towed." "Yeah? You got towed last night while I was sleeping?" I can't believe it. I got towed. Yeah? Don't you remember? She frantically checks behind the blinds to look outside at the parking lot. I didn't get towed. Yeah. You got towed and towed deck last night. One of our best moments for sure. This is a very wholesome story that begins with the first night I invited my girlfriend to spend the night at my college apartment. His girlfriend, who's an absolute freak. That reminds me of my husband and I in our old apartment. The movie Twister had just come out, and I watched it at home. I saw a flash of white and black go by the window, and said, "What was that?" My husband, joking about a scene in the movie, said, "It was probably a cow." I looked out the window, and it was my neighbor's cat, black and white, named Cow. "Yep," I said, "it was Cow." I was only joking," said my husband. "It was definitely Cow." I said, "It literally turned into the dude? Sweet scene from Dude? Where's my car?" Turns out my husband had no idea my neighbor's cat was named Cow. Too funny.